After a long hiatus, I'm back and I'm joined with the product manager here at TV Networks and a good friend of mine, James Crossan. Guys, apologize for the delay. We're on the tail end of NAB Las Vegas. It was an absolutely insane show. I'm still congested from it a little bit, but we're making it. James, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
So, James, I know it's your first time here at TVU Talk, and just kind of wanted to give you a quick rundown. We just want to learn about what you're doing in the space, the products you're working on. Obviously, I know it, but the thing that I think is the most exciting about what you're working on, and I'll spoil it for everyone, your product is TVU Search for the main part, right? I know all the product managers work on a lot of stuff, but there is a big part of it that is AI related, correct?
Absolutely.
So AI is like a hot bucket thing, right? I think I was reading yesterday, it's like AI is wrecking Wall Street and it's changing all this other stuff and things of this nature. So, for you and kind of AI in the space and everything kind of happening, what does AI mean to you in the large ecosystem of the media supply chain, broadcast news, remote production, that whole thing?
Well, I think that, just like all of the ways that AI is disrupting, all the kind of the legacy structure of our business and our world, I think that what it adds to the media supply chain is just, exponential, advance in ability to basically automate and have, much more flexibility. So I think that, there's some fear out there about what it's capable of doing and whatnot. But I think that what's really exciting about it is that, it will be a total paradigm shift for everyone. And I think we're in that phase right now. And, just with the level of automation and just the level of insight that everyone can gain from AI, I think that ultimately on the other side of all this will be, much more curated experiences for consumers of content. And I think that's really where everything's heading. So I'm really excited to see kind of where everything leads to. But in my mind, just the level of automation and flexibility and all that it's bringing is going to basically, coalesce in just a lot more, content that's going to be, more curated towards the individual users and consumers, which I think is a plus for everyone.
Now, we are recording right now in TVU Producer, right? We're using TVU Party Line to, some of our microservices. We've talked about kind of both of these in the past and previous shows. And, all in the cloud-based, right? Good quality production doesn't have to cost a lot of money, all that thing. So, and on top of that, in our microservices, AI is a part of it, right? And that is whether it is, and please stop me at any point because I'm not the tech guy in this conversation. No, sometimes I am. If I'm talking to my wife, I'm the tech guy, right? But talking to you, I'll bow out. So no kind of walk through. We have a lot of microservices here, right? Off the top of your head, which ones already have some form of AI integration, right? I know it's like search, obviously, which we'll get into later. Mm-hmm. What else?
I mean, so basically, a big part of this is the fact that anything that flows through our ecosystem has the capability of having AI enrichment. So, the way we like to say it is as soon as it gets into our ecosystem, which it's extremely easy to get content into our ecosystem, we can start indexing it with not only timecode metadata, but AI enhanced metadata like speech to text, facial detection and whatnot immediately and turn that around in under 10 seconds. So I would say that anything that's flowing through our ecosystem is capable of being indexed and available right away with that kind of AI enhanced metadata.
Oh, that's really cool. So, okay, so I know this a little bit, but I just want you to kind of flesh it out. I'm not trying to be the guy that's like, oh, do, because I know a lot about our products, obviously. But one thing I'm not super familiar with is I've been at TVU for, I guess I'm coming up around 7 or 8 months now, right? I'll have to check the start date. But at NAB Las Vegas, and if you guys are watching, not familiar with NAB or whatever it is, NAB is like the creme de la creme, the top of the top media tech trade show, right? It's in Las Vegas. There's a smaller one in New York every year, but the Las Vegas one is huge. I mean, I think I saw someone that was like 70,000+ people. Please don't quote me on that, but I think that's how many people showed. Our booth was insanely busy, and a lot of the reason was driven by the TVU Search, which is James' product. But we're not new to AI, right? Can you kind of walk me through the journey of TVU and AI and why we knew it was so important, years ago? And, because a lot of people, I think I saw one of our product managers, Robin Wu, spoiler alert, Robin's going to be on next week. But Robin was saying that he was talking to some companies there. I don't want to say any names or anything, but they had no AI products. And then a month before NAB, they spun a couple up, right? Because they just knew they needed to have some AI. Luckily, we didn't have to do that. So James, I yield the floor to you. Walk us through the journey of TVU AI. A lot of letters there, TVU
AI. No problem. Yeah, so I would say about 4 or 5 years ago at this point. It's crazy how fast time has flown since then. We introduced a product called TVU MediaMind, which basically was a product that was all about indexing live feeds and making them available, making that indexed content available in real time. It was a product that was kind of, I think, a little, like you were saying, a little ahead of its time. There were some definite early adopters, and we've kind of stuck with it. I haven't given up on it, of course, and refined it and made it work, I think, a little better in certain workflows. Whereas basically in the beginning it was more of a story-centric workflow where you would have multiple different stories that you're trying to collect different content, and then you could assign those out, and then basically anyone could fulfill those, and then the AI indexing would kind of marry all that together. And that's still available and accessible today. But over the years, what we've done is kind of really take it down to the core of our most elemental architecture, where we've basically objectified all of the different elements within TVU. So no matter if it's a source or a receiver, or any sort of destination, any sort of input, essentially, any sort of other element that you might bring into your content, graphics, tags, captioning, all of that. And basically broken everything down into a very flexible object that really lends itself to being able to index and find and search and filter in these really, really powerful but very simple ways. So not only do we have some AI enhanced indexing with speech to text and facial detection and other object recognition and sentiment and those types of things, but just the foundation of everything with being objectified in that way makes it much more flexible and much easier to index. So the searching capability is even more enhanced, rather than just kind of like, we're just adding the AI on at the end. We're kind of thinking of it from the ground up and making it as conducive to finding and searching and basically discovering content is as simple and easy as possible.
I got two more questions for you before we jump into the demo. One is 5 years from now, right? As a leader in the AI, whether you consider yourself a leader in the AI world, right? I definitely do, right? I consider you one. What do you think the media supply chain is going to look like in 5 years? Like, what's the big crazy idea that you think it could be? Is it going to be that we're going to type in a quick sentence and then we're going to have an entire edited storyline with some of our other, with some partners we work? Like, what's the litmus tests of AI and the media supply chain of the next 5?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you were saying, it's basically going to be, as easy as possible to create content, either via just, writing a brief blurb of content that you're looking for and letting the AI basically generate the content that you need to, create that story. I think is a pretty easy step forward. But, like I was saying at the beginning, I think this is all going to culminate in the at the end, where with the content consumers being able to say exactly what they're looking for, and for that to basically, come to fruition very, automatically. So, basically creating these much more highly curated experiences for content consumers, I think, is where everything's heading.
No, I think you said it incredible. So I think that's very well put. A little bit of a more personal question here. When Chat GPT started making headlines, right? Was it a exciting thing for you as with the AI world? Did you feel any extra pressure from like just being in the AI world already, or was it just like what I know Chat GPT is no longer necessary. I mean, it's very exciting, very thing, but a lot of people know it. It's being used by workflows all across the world and different things. So I know it was a little bit of a while ago, but was it something that like was exciting? Was it a little scary? What was the vibe check for you when that kind of happened?
Yeah, I think it was a lot of different emotions. But I think, at first, I think everyone once they kind of come into, realizing how powerful AI can be, and imagining how much more powerful it will get, I think it's a little unsettling initially, but I think once you kind of get comfortable with it and just realize that it's a kind of a force of nature at this point, that we're going to have to learn to live with, and I think we're going to learn to thrive with, ultimately. I think that's that was my journey, and I mean, certainly when I saw it, I felt the same way. It's like, wow, this is very powerful. Imagining, wow, that how disruptive this will be, but at the same time, how exciting. It's like opens up so many different worlds of possibilities for everyone across the world for so many different reasons. So I'm just really, really excited and lucky that I'm in the space where I am right now. Obviously, to be working with this, it's a very, very exciting time.
I'm gonna throw one more question at you, right? And this is something that I take very personally, and this is not a reflection of necessarily TVU's viewpoints, but it's something that I've kind of always thought, and I just kind of wanted to have a candid conversation here. Is I worked in the local TV news world for 6 years, right? I was a started out behind the scenes as an associate digital content producer, writing social media posts. Eventually became a reporter, then back to the digital world, and ultimately became a digital content manager and executive producer of digital. So the digital space is exciting for me. One thing that I think I've always kind of been a little bit frustrated is not the right word, but I've always been like, is that I feel like sometimes legacy media and stuff can sometimes be a little slow to adapt, right? I've said from the beginning that, it felt like sometimes TV stations would wake up and then they're like, oh, we need a website, right? Or, oh, we need OTT, right? And, they're kind of a couple times. Again, there are some very key leadership groups and stuff that are definitely pushing ahead and pioneering. We've got some great partners that do that. I don't want to discredit that at all. But do you have a message for like these massive groups? I mean, I've read the dramatic things as like not for TV specifically, right? But like adapt or die, right? Like the TV stations and everything is going to be different in 2 or 3 years. You have a message for them as far as like with AI, it's not on the horizon, it's here, right?
Yeah,
You have any ways to help them adapt, whether it's
absolutely.
a current customer or, potential customer or whatever it is of ours?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the big things that, was really, I felt, was kind of the reaction to TVU search at this recent NAB was that, I think the way that we've designed everything from the ground up, including, obviously our interface, but not only that, but just the whole architecture, makes it really easy to understand how things are working and how you can use it, and just kind of pick it up and start using it right away. That's certainly been kind of the adoption of this product. I think, like you said, sometimes people are a little hesitant to try something new, but I think what I've really focused on is making this as easy as possible to understand and to use, and to get your job done. So hopefully, I've done a reasonable job with that, and I think that a lot of people have really appreciated this tool and just making their lives easier. Rather than having to go back and scrub through content. It's so easy. I'll show in a few minutes, how you can just easily find the exact soundbite you're looking for in a matter of seconds. So I think, and it's only going to get more easy and more powerful from here. So anyway, I think it's going to be a good thing overall.
Yeah, I want to jump right into the demo and show it down. And I will say I've seen this demo a bunch. And I won't lie, I'm a little jealous of the digital content producers and everybody who can use this, because I remember what it was like going in, downloading an AWS bucket, trying to find it, searching through, somebody mislabeled a clip, somebody, oh no, somebody forgot to record, whatever it is. So, I mean, I objectively am jealous, and it's exciting to be a part of it, but I very much would have wanted this. All right, give me 1 second. Let me do a video cutover as we are here, and okay, your screen is good to go, and we still got audio, so everything's fine.
Awesome. So yeah, so this is basically the landing page of TVU Search. This is what we call the timeline view, where you can see all of the different live feeds that are available in TVU's ecosystem. Like I said before, as soon as it hits our ecosystem, it's capable of being recorded and indexed with timecode metadata, including speech to text transcription and facial recognition as well. And all of that can be turned around in under 10 seconds after it was live. So this basically kind of puts you at the driver's seat, where you're able to navigate and see different, find different sources, see the different stories that were available on those sources at any given time, and then kind of look through this in a channel guide view. We also have a calendar view where you can see all the different sources and the different schedules for them in a calendar layout. But the timeline view, I think, is the landing page for a reason, because it just kind of lets you know exactly where you are in time. This is the live bar. Here's your live time up top. You can see which things are recording now, and go back in time if you need to. Let's say you want to jump into something that's happening right now. Let me see if I can find something that's happening right now. You can jump into this one. It looks like a press conference. So let's say, we missed the opening remarks of this press conference. We can just click on it in the timeline, open the speech to text transcription on the right-hand side here. And we can see right away, the very bottom here, the opening remark. Click on that. It takes our playhead directly to that time code in the video here. And then we can use that to basically navigate through the video, and search it if we want to for different words, and move the playhead to those results easily if we want to get it here. And then finally, we can basically create our clip by just highlighting the text directly from the speech recognition transcript. So you can see I've highlighted this text here, and now I've got my 18-second clip. Here's my mark in time. Here's my mark out time. We have our standard JKL, IO, shortcut keys from Premiere and other kind of common editing tools. So it makes it really easy to just pick up and start using if you're familiar with that. And then from here, you can either adjust your mark in, mark out points if you want to manually, or you can set your mark in and mark out time code manually if you need to in the top right-hand corner or top left-hand corner here. Basically, once you've got your clip, you can click clip here, and then you can do a number of things to export it, right? You can share it to social media. So you can basically add some, basic decoration, pre and post-roll video, watermark, and then share it to multiple different social media sites simultaneously. And then you can save all of those as a template, all those settings that you have for sharing as a template. So this is one I've created in the past. It's going to my Facebook page and my TikTok page with a watermark in the bottom right-hand corner that I can move around if I want to, and some pre and post-roll branding. And then I'm ready to share it. Just give it a name and then share it. So next time I can just easily pick up that same template, add it to the clip I want to share, and I'm sharing it quickly. So I think that speed to site has really been important for a lot of the folks using it on the social media side. Next,
you can search anything that's been on our system, right? This is a question that, okay. So, and these feeds, I think the answer is yes, but I just want to be clear is that like these feeds don't have to technically be like a TVU feed, right? This is not coming from your pack or whatever it is, right? Like you're able to provide whatever feeds you want, right? Like if you partner with a your sister station or whatever it is, right? Or you're a part of a big organization, and you decide, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. And so, this is all like once you see it here, it's all flowing through our ecosystem. But anything can get into TVU ecosystem really, really easily. So even if you just have, an IP stream that you want to start indexing live, that can be easily added and available in TVU search as well. And will show up, just like one of these other sources here on the left-hand side. Essentially, we'll bring it into our TVU grid ecosystem where it can be basically distributed to anywhere, any number of destinations simultaneously, in various, low latency, but also at the same time indexed and recorded live as well. So yeah, any type of source can be added, whether it's one of our TVU pack or, TVU one, TVU anywhere, TVU grid, and then any kind of IP stream on top of that can also be added here as well.
I know it's scalable, right? But so, I mean, this isn't just limited to people that want to do like a massive, like have 100 feeds in there, right? Like you could scale it to 2 or 3 to help with a press conference or help editing turnaround and stuff, right? I mean, obviously
Yep.
we see your view here because you're the king of the castle, right? You can see everything,
Yep.
right? But people can control how many feeds, who can see it, who has to it, right? This isn't like an open forum. Here's a library of everything flowing into it. You get to control it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So these are all just our customers that are currently using it. This is obviously just my demo account. If you just log into TV search with your just normal email address and you aren't associated with any of, TVU at all, you can see what we call TVU media source, which is basically our kind of public sources that are available here in TVU search, which currently includes FedNet, which is basically live signals from the U.S. Capitol, from Congress, the House and Senate and whatnot, and also a feed from Ukraine as well that's being indexed and recorded 24/7. And so for those, they are available to anyone that logs in, and you can actually purchase content from FedNet in this interface. So this actually does provide some monetization opportunity as well. If you have some content that you're wanting to, monetize on this platform, it can be used to do that as well. But, normally I think, and for the most part, folks are using it for their internal content, to work with their internal teams and whatnot for, curating and clipping and whatnot, the things that are internal to them. So of course, that's all protected behind, the user entitlement kind of system that we have to set that up.
Got it. Sorry for cutting you off. Continue the show off. I know my favorite thing is the facial recognition. So I know we're gonna get there, but that's the exciting part.
Cool,
for
cool.
me.
Yeah,
It's all exciting, but that's like the
yeah. Let me pull something up. So yeah, absolutely. We do have some facial recognition here. Let me see if I can find. So this is looks like President Biden is going to deliver some remarks here. So if we click on this, we can see.
Oh, James, I lost audio from you for a second.
Okay.
Oh, now you're back.
Okay. So yeah, I've just opened this. This is a live press conference happening now with Biden, and you can see the event name here. We can see, the beginning of the transcript here, and below that, we can see some facial detection. So we can see these different, faces that are recognized. If we click on this one, what's really neat about this is that it will actually highlight the text that corresponds to when this person, so when Kathy Hochul was speaking, it'll highlight that text in yellow. So it does have some diarization capability how we're marrying the time code of the facial appearance to the time code of the speech to text transcription. And so basically, if we highlight her name, we can see all the text that corresponds to where she was speaking. And yeah, you can also do it for other, recognized speakers in the video as well, and flip to different times where they appear on camera and whatnot. But yeah, that's a pretty neat one as well, because it makes it, that much easier to kind of pinpoint exactly what you're looking for.
You can search like your pre-existing content too, not just live thing. Like you can search like Joe Biden for every time it shows up.
Yeah, exactly. So if I search Biden here, I can see, okay, here's Joe Biden. And if I click this, it's basically going to,
Joe Biden's nose. I like it. I mean,
yeah,
that's what
this
it
is,
takes, right? You don't have to show
that's
the
all
whole
it takes
face. It's
from
yeah.
AI. Exactly. We know it's Joe Biden. Anyway, but here you can see basically the, where he was, where he appeared in these different videos, these different events, sorry. If you click on it, it takes you right to that first appearance. So you can see, if you click on this, it's right when he kind of showed up on camera. But yeah, you can certainly use the facial recognition for searching, and you can also upload an image of someone's face. So if maybe it's a congressperson, you don't know their name or something, you want to upload their face, you can search that as well. And another thing I wanted to show was, like, if you are looking for some content you don't know, you're looking for something about inflation, you type in inflation here. These are the criteria that you're filtering on. So anything in the last month from these different sources, you could even filter by something that's currently ingesting. So I'm going to filter that out. And now I can see that there's something happening on FedNet here. If I click it, it moves my playhead time code directly to where that word appeared in the video. So again, I can basically, easily find the exact soundbite I'm looking for just from a global search. So I type it up here, I click on the result where I can see the little segment of the caption that matches. Then when I open that, it basically moves my playhead directly to that word that I searched. And from there, I can just highlight the soundbite and clip and export. So like I was saying before, this is a huge time saver.
Yeah. I mean, time saver is, I think it's an understatement, right? I mean, I know every station has different workflows, every group has different vendors and stuff, but it is, again, it's a little jealous because I remember what it was like hunting through. Not to beat that over and over again, but yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to show off? Or you want me to switch the camera
Yeah.
back over to you?
Yeah. So if you don't mind, let me show two things that I think were pretty neat that we showed off at NAB. This is the new live monitor page that allows you to basically build and customize your different, a live monitor of different sources that are available to you. And you can move things around. So if you want to move this, Joe Biden's speech to the top here, you can move it around. But what's also really neat is that you can, take action. So you can sit here and watch multiple, sources, full frame previews. By the way, these are sub-second previews using the same RTIL protocol that we're using here in Partyline, which is, pretty awesome. So you can really know that you're right at the live point with monitoring here. And, you can see here, I can see that this is recording, so I'm good here. But let's say, oh, I wanted to start recording this thing because someone walked out that I need to, start recording. I can just open this and then basically, take action to open the event and start a recording if I need to. So there's that kind of flexibility and control here in this multi-viewer. Another thing that's really neat is you can add these to a sidebar here. So if you want to keep an eye on multiple things at the same time, while you're working on, something from earlier, let's say you needed to create a clip from something from earlier, you can add it on the sidebar. And then if you search something, let's say you're, going back to inflation, or if you're just working with some other asset here from earlier, you'll notice that this live monitor sidebar will stay open, right? So I can, I'm working on something that I missed earlier, like the opening remarks. I can get my good morning and all that from this event while I'm keeping an eye on what's happening here and even listening to it. And I can start recording it. I could route it live. So anyway, it just opens up a lot of multitasking flexibility there in the interface. And I think a lot of people, that really resonated with a lot of people, being able to have that multi-viewer, that actionable multi-viewer was pretty awesome. So the other thing real quick is the active search, which, we were talking about AI, and I think this really allows us to kind of show off the potential here of what it can do. What this allows you to do is basically build a criteria where you're able to put in, different keywords, words, phrases, anything you want, and decide basically whether they match the event details, the captions in the event, and whether you want to add, some facial recognition to that as well. So in this case, this is set for if anytime I see the word "we recognize" in any of the sources that the word because happened in an event detail or in the captions, and Joe Biden's face was on camera, we'll trigger these events on the right-hand side here. So we can create a clip automatically that's going to, start just before, 5 seconds before in this case, that trigger, and stop 5 seconds afterwards. We can email a link to that event to other folks in our group, or you can notify them within the app. So basically, and with this, you no longer have to worry about going back and finding it after the fact. We're going to let you know as soon as anytime, we see what you're interested in, we're going to let you know, and we can even create a clip and export it, or, basically automate those actions that you'd like to take as soon as possible. So really I think what's really cool about TV search is that it's really bringing that indexing and that AI and enrichment right to the forefront of live, and really enhancing these live workflows, so that you're able to turn things around and react immediately. And so without AI, you could never do anything like this. So that's another thing we're really excited about.
Yeah, I'm going to bring us over on the camera now on the screen, but one of the first things that come to mind, and I mean, it's a very polarizing topic, and I'm not getting the politics of it at all, but like, obviously there's been a couple of major events in Texas that have happened recently. And so, I mean, you could set it up where every time President Joe Biden for the next month references Texas, you could have 5 seconds before and 10 seconds after immediately made it, and then you're good to go, right? I mean,
Yep.
is that correct?
That's
Oh,
exactly right.
I objectively did not know that.
Yep.
I'm thinking like, when I was in a newsroom, like it was, it was competition. I'm from Memphis, right? Memphis, you're hard pressed to get crazier news market than Memphis. I always told people it's market 51, maybe 52 now, but it's got the news of a top 10. I mean, and a lot of the times it's a race against the competition, against being first to get that first social media post out. And that can be the difference between 1,000 shares versus 100,000 shares. I mean, that's just like, the biggest story we covered while I was there was the murder of the rapper Young Dolph. And we were first to post it. And I mean, it was thousands upon thousands upon thousands of shares. And our competitor was like a minute behind us, right? And just because we were first, we had so much more. And so it's not just like ease of workflow, right? It's not just that. I mean, clicks are money, right? Especially if they come into our website with ad revenue. So I think this is not, you mentioned monetization from like, you can sell the content, on the platform, but being first is key, especially in today's world. And you want to be right above all else, obviously, but you want to be first. And so, yeah, I mean, that's huge. I mean, I remember thinking like to get sound bites turned around, we had to like stop the recording, or we had to create a clip, and then we had to open it in Adobe, and then we had to do all of this, which got the job done. But I mean, we're talking like 5-10 minutes sometimes, right? And then of course the computer lags and then you're stuck behind, and then it's like everything. So James, I mean, absolutely hats off. I mean, I know that we're coworkers and everything, but I mean, this is I got bits and pieces of this in demos at NAB Las Vegas. The facial recognition was the thing that I was like, oh, I was like, that's really cool. But I mean, once you mentioned that it like can listen, and you said to always listen and always pick up these things.
Exactly.
I think that's a whole nother element. I know we're probably longer than I told you we'd be. Anything else you want to add? Anything about yourself, TVU, before I send this home?
Well, I think just, what's great about TVU is that we're making this, available to anyone. It's super easy. I think, it's super cost effective. So I think, from, a large broadcaster to a small, someone who's just getting started with stuff, I mean, I think that this definitely can provide benefit, the same level of benefit, no matter who you are. So anyway, look forward to working with more and more customers on this product.
Yeah, 100%. James, thank you so much. And guys, again, I apologize for the hiatus. We'll be back with at least semi-regular shows as we continue to learn more products, hopefully bring in some people outside the TVU ecosystem as well. So if you're in the comments and you want to be on and you think you have a voice that we should hear, please just comment and I will be sure to reach back out. But be sure to subscribe, follow us on all the social media platforms, and we will talk to you guys soon.